In my last video, I made the case that the real opportunity with AI isn't getting a little faster at your existing job, it's building things your team couldn't do before. So I took a real problem, tracking budget and expenses across the team, described it to two different AI tools, Claude and Copilot in this case, and in plain English, I just let them build it. And right here is exactly the kind of problem I'm talking about. Every month, finance sends me something that looks like this: hundreds of rows, dozens of columns, account codes that only make sense if you've lived inside a corporate finance system for years. So, what I wanted to do was build something that could make sense of all this automatically. So, I described that problem to both tools and said, build me something. I think you'll find the results between the two pretty interesting. So, let's get started with Copilot. I opened Microsoft Copilot App Builder right inside my Microsoft 365 environment, pasted in my requirements in plain English, no code, no technical specs, just a description of what I needed. And this is what it looks like while it's thinking. It took about 10 minutes to build, longer than I expected, but what came out on the other side was genuinely pretty impressive. All right, so here's the finished app. And as you can see, it's a pretty nice layout, pretty impressed. You've got categories at the top. You've got a year drop down for future budget years and to go back. Regional budget cards there in the middle. So you can divide up the different regions if you're a multi-site organization. You've got an area here where you could quickly add expenses right here on the dashboard. You can also parse expenses if you happen to get, like I do, emails for expense approvals. You can copy and paste those, and you can train Copilot on the format and make tweaks to your prompt to adjust that accordingly. A nice recent expenses there down at the bottom. And again, the drop down at the top for adding future years. In the Add Expenses page, you can add more detailed expenses and have even a bulk import option available to you. The Review Expenses page is a nice dashboard layout. And as you can see here, you can get lots of different trends and insights into your expenses, top vendors, categories on the rise. So you can see trends very easily this way. A budget summary by region. And then again, down at the bottom, you've got a more expanded expense management option here where you can add, edit, or delete your expenses. And at the top, category codes. So in some cases, you can apply category or budget categories here, add budget totals for each of those as well. One of the things I think is extremely important for this to be something that you can truly use in a production level environment is to have a SharePoint backend. And this is in order to be able to store your data and ensure that data persists beyond just this session. There is a publish and share option that you can see up there on the top right. So you could share your expense application in this case, or any application that you build with colleagues across the organization. But of course, if there's no data persistence, that sort of defeats the point. In previous apps, I was able to make this work, and Copilot would even prompt me proactively for that. In this case, it's not able to do it. So I suspect because it's a frontier model, there are some changes being made. Perhaps you get to a point even where maybe IT has to approve that, but we'll see where that ends up. My hope is that they'll re-enable that feature, and then truly we can all become app developers. Okay, so this time let's look at Claude. I used the same prompt that I used for Copilot. I did choose the Sonnet 4.6 model, which is the mid-tier option versus the Opus 4.7, but I think for what we're trying to do here, it's just fine. Now you could do this any number of ways in Claude. You could use Claude Code. You could use Claude Cowork if that's a preference of yours as well. But I decided to use the relatively new artifacts option. It's a pretty nice solution for creating quick, down and dirty apps for day-to-day use. There's a whole bunch you can do with this. I can make more videos about some other things I've done with it that are pretty interesting. But for now, again, just going off our last example and comparing what we did with Copilot, I went to the artifacts option in chat, started from scratch, and then I gave it the exact same prompt I used in Copilot. And unlike Copilot, which took about 10 minutes to build, Claude took less than 2. So very quick build, very quick results. The app itself is fairly simplistic, I think, compared to what Copilot built, but also fully functional and has all the same features and functionality for the most part that Copilot had created for us as well. So a very workable, usable option. The downside, though, here is in an enterprise environment especially, there really is no good option to share. There's also no backend storage or persistence. You could create code, and there are ways to publish an app or have Claude Code build you something that you could make accessible by others in the organization. But there are a lot of security considerations that you have to take into account. Your IT department also may need to approve that. It's just not quite as seamless and as efficient as what I'm hoping Copilot's going to end up being once the backend SharePoint solution is fully in place. If you're interested in using the same prompt I used to build these apps, I'll go ahead and put that in the description below. Feel free to use it as you wish, and of course you can edit and tweak it to your liking. Okay, so two tools, same prompt, both impressive in different ways. Copilot wins on polish and deployment potential, especially once the SharePoint backend comes back. Claude wins on speed, flexibility, and iteration, but I think it's a little bit more of an advanced option for day-to-day users in the enterprise. For a corporate environment right now, Copilot is closer to production ready, in my opinion. For prototyping and thinking through what you need to build, Claude is unmatched. My honest take, you need both in your toolkit. And the fact that either of them can build this from plain English with no developer, no budget, no timeline, that's the real story here, and that's the real power of both of these tools. Subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.